Shipwreck hunting can be very tedious work. The Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society has searched well over 700 miles of the bottom of Lake Superior this year alone. With the help of marine sonic technology, they're having a very good year. Corey Adkins explains in this week's Northern Michigan in Focus.
To find 3 in a few weeks, that's great. That's fantastic.
2021 has been a great year for the Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society. And better yet, the last month has been very exciting.
One of the biggest goals of the Shipwreck Society since 1978 was the discovery and documentation of shipwrecks. This has been a phenomenal year. Yeah, in a few weeks we found 3 shipwrecks. And that's not usual, that's not normal for us.
Wreck number 1, the schooner barge Dot that sank in 1883.
Oh, the Dot is in 355 feet of water. And well, the Drake was pulling the Dot when the Dot sank, and the Drake took all the crew off the Dot and saved them all. And then the ship sank, and they witnessed the ship going down, and it pulled all the bulwarks right off the hull.
Wreck number 2, the schooner barge Frank Wheeler. Similar to the Dot, the Wheeler was also being towed, but this time by the steamship Kitty Forbes. It sank in 1885 in 600 feet of water. And one of the odd things about this wreck is...
Well, it wasn't even 12 months old. It was built in 1884 and it sank in 1885.
The interesting thing about the Frank Wheeler is that it has a cabin in the bow, which is kind of unusual. But in the underwater footage that our ROV was able to pick up, you can very clearly see, you can see bunks inside the cabin, you can see a chair, you can see a bench knocked over. It kind of looks like the crew got up and just, raced out.
That's a shipwreck, guys.
And shipwreck number 3.
We have a shipwreck.
The schooner barge Michigan.
Look at that. That's the stern. I think you can see the rudder right there.
It was found in over 400 feet of water, and it has a similar story to the Dot.
The Dot was being towed by the Drake, and then the Michigan was being towed by the Drake as well. This is October 2nd, 1901. They were fighting the weather. It was taking on more water. The crew on board the Michigan started signaling the captain on board the Drake, saying, "Look, we're in trouble. We need some help."
The Drake cut the tow line, turned around and rescued the crew of the Michigan. Sadly, the cook died in the transfer.
It was unique because it was a double-deck ship, and I looked for this one for over 35, 40 years, and so did a lot of others.
All 3 shipwreck finds were schooner barges. 2 of them were being towed by the Drake, and in an odd twist of fate, 5.5 hours after the Michigan sank, the Drake sank. You can see the rudder of the Drake at Whitefish Point. The Shipwreck Society will continue to study these wrecks and are dedicated to tell the stories of the shipwreck coast and all the Great Lakes. But for now,
it's still satisfying to finally put it to rest. We know where it is now.
For Northern Michigan in Focus, I'm Corey Adkins.
And believe it or not, the Shipwreck Society has found 3 more wrecks since these 3.